in 2028, the US will be producing 1.4 million fully electric cars. That's pretty cool. But China? Well, they're going to be pushing out more than 8 million. Get it together, America! Hello, and welcome to the show about fun facts and a little bit of science. Today, we are talking about how China is excelling in the electric vehicle market. China has traditionally had a very interesting market when it comes to the automotive industry. I mean, just look at this list of the current car manufacturers in China. This doesn't even include companies that are no longer in business or the partnerships with global brands like BMW and Ford. That's insane. In comparison to the US, China has been crushing it with EV sales. Just look at these numbers. These are some good numbers, not for us. But why is this happening? Why has China been knocking it out of the park with EVs? Well, having a lot of manufacturers can certainly help, but those new brands still need to build trust and show they are worth buying from. Here's a list of some of the electric vehicle companies in China. Be sure to click that notification bell and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Being a new company means you also need to charge a little more for your product to make up for your research and development. However, brands like Xpeng have put the work in with the right people, the Chinese government. Over the last year, they have worked on a $700 million deal linked to the city of Guangzhou and the surrounding province. They also managed to get low-interest loans and tax breaks that have allowed for lower showroom prices, which means the buyers can afford them, which of course means there will be more of them on the roads. So we have China offering great deals to their manufacturers, and then places like Texas in the US dumping all over the idea. Great. For Beijing, the plan was a little bit different than in the US. By pushing EV production and sales, it would be able to not only reduce the massive amounts of pollution hanging over their city, but they would no longer need to rely on imported oil. And since China has had a hard time competing with the rest of the global auto manufacturers, they saw the electric vehicle market as an opportunity to be leaders and not followers. China has spent $100 billion to push the industry. In 2020, China sold more than 1.3 million EVs, which is 4 times greater than the US. Clearly, their plan is working. However, it might be working too well. They have 119 EV manufacturers now. That's a bit excessive, isn't it? Yes, it is. And that could possibly lead to a market failure when attempting to reach the global market. And considering the fact that Tesla is still the top-selling EV brand in China and that it's followed by a company partnered with GM, they have a lot of work ahead of them for brand recognition and trust. Having 119 companies, many of which are new, means that will all be a challenge. And apparently, 2028 is the magic year. China could be producing 8 million fully electric cars by then. Europe is on track to hit just under 6 million, and the US a measly 1.4. And that doesn't include hybrids. Meanwhile, we have states like Texas ramping up the fees on EV owners to make up for the gas taxes they aren't dealing with. But isn't that partially the point? It used to be all about getting incentives for buying EVs, so not only saved money on gas, but you were essentially rewarded for saving the environment. In 2019, China had more than 516,000 charging outlets for electric vehicles, up from 300,000 in 2018. And by the end of 2020, they had more than 800,000 outlets. In comparison, the US has almost 100,000 total. And that's as of February of 2021. Heck, China installed 112,000 outlets in December alone. What are we doing? Well, if you watched my other video about climate change misinformation, then you probably have an idea why we aren't leading the way in EV cars and outlets. Oil and gas companies have too much influence and spend a lot of money ensuring state representatives are on their side. This is why we hear things like, users of electric vehicles are free riders who should be forced to pay a fee, and they are literally free riders because they're not paying any gas tax. Is that a Texas accent? I don't know. Thus, the Texas bill will be charging upwards of $400 for owning an EV because it's not fair. And despite the fact that Tesla is bringing in 10,000 jobs to Texas with their new plant, the purchase process is absurd. If you want a Tesla in Texas, you have to go out of state to buy or pay a third party to ship it to you. Even though Tesla will be literally building them in the state, they will have to ship them out of the state, and buyers will follow the same process of buy out of state or have it shipped in. The car is made right there. And it's not just Texas. But any state that follows these ridiculous behaviors is just pushing the US behind for the EV market. We need to be moving forward, as with competition and growth, we will see incredible new advancements in technology, much like we are seeing with space travel. SpaceX, anyone? In the end, the Chinese government has supported the market, but not necessarily helped it become innovative, which would lead to global success. If the US learns anything from this, it's that government deals can help push the market forward, but too much can cause a flooded market of mediocre products. If everything works out for China, then it's possible we may finally see a Chinese dealership in the US. In the meantime, I'm keeping my eye on the Korean brand Hyundai. They have come a long way as a brand, and they have been putting in the work. With the Ioniq 5, oh mama, that's what an electric car should be. As always, thanks for watching, and what did you learn today?